and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, for yet more reaction to Barca's stunning win over Bayern Munich in the Champions League. 4-1. Just to remind you of the score, 4-1 Barca. We're going to be talking today about the tactical side of the game, what we saw right there, the two teams head-to-head, and how it all played out. So many fascinating aspects of this game, and we're also going to accompany that with words from Hansi Flick himself, the man who masterminded this win. And don't forget, guys, the job is only half done this week, as we will also be looking ahead early on here to El Classico. So come on, and let's do this. Because indeed, guys, in order to actually make this video, I am staying up into the early hours of the morning because I need to get it out to you. We need to talk more about this. I'm spurred on by all of your passion, your excitement, all of your happiness right now. It is an amazing time and so many unbelievable super thanks coming in. Never ever seen this many. So thank you guys to each and every one of you. I really, really appreciate it here. And where should we begin? Because wherever you look in this Barca team tonight, somebody will have done you proud. Every single player that was out there tonight, whether it be in the starting lineup, whether it be coming off the bench, whether it be just on the sidelines in general, every part of this group was pulled together as one, and they have produced what we saw out there tonight, guys. But let's start with the hero. Let's put it like that. Raphinha tonight, he was our hero. A hat-trick against Bayern in the Champions League. It doesn't get better than that. That is absolutely unbelievable from him. And the quality of the goals as well. These are not just tap-ins. You know, these are not 3 easy goals that have come his way. Every single one of them, absolutely phenomenal finishes there. All different kinds of finishes too. What a complete performance from him. And let's illustrate that. Because it wasn't just about his goals tonight. Yes, they were unbelievable. Yes, they were absolutely extraordinary. But it wasn't even just about that, because Hansi Flick, for instance, after the game came out and said, I've never had a player like Raphinha in any of my teams. He said he gives his all, he puts his heart and his soul into it, both with and without the ball. He's so good in terms of starting our pressing, and he finishes our chances. And he said as well, he always has a smile on his face there. And for Hansi Flick, given the calibre of players that he's coached in the past, to say, I've never had anybody like Raphinha, that is such high praise there. And it really does illustrate just how instrumental Raphinha has been. Because why don't we take a closer look here at that Barcelona press here tonight against Bayern? Because as we spoke about even before the game, Bayern's style under company, it is very, very brave from the back there. They do split those centre-backs, and that's exactly what we saw tonight. They do push the full-backs on. So they basically here have lots of open spaces in this kind of zone. And the question was going to be, what kind of plan is Flick going to have to really target those areas? And I think we saw it, and I think Raphinha expectedly was absolutely vital for that. And I think we saw even more so tonight how much he does lead that press, because I would actually argue here, especially when Neuer was coming out and creating a 3 in these areas here, that Raphinha at times tonight was almost pressing enough for 2 players in that front line. Because as we know, Robert Lewandowski, he's not exactly a pressing machine. You know, we don't expect him to be. That's not the kind of role that he has in the team. At times, we do need to protect him. And what you will have actually noticed at several different points tonight, guys, especially in the first half there, Lewandowski was actually moving into wider positions. When we didn't have the ball, he was actually moving wider, and it was Raphinha who was absolutely sprinting around the first line of engagement here. He was absolutely getting in the face of Bayern, putting fear in them right there, starting from playing out of the back. So Barca there certainly identifying that area. And I think if there's one player tonight that we targeted, it wasn't necessarily Kim, although I think we forced a few mistakes out of him in the game. It wasn't Upamecano. What we did, we targeted Manuel Neuer. You look at the amount of passes tonight there that he wasn't able to complete there. He was looking for midfielders. Fermin was absolutely vital as well. It was Raphinha, Fermin, Yamal as well was very involved in the pressing, and he couldn't find the midfield. He couldn't find there the centre-back either with any real purpose, and every single time that Barca were turning that ball over, Bayern were getting very, very nervy that it started to impact their confidence on the ball, and there was very nearly a goal actually caused by the high pressing. Yamal closed down Manuel Neuer. It was so close there to going in, but just went wide in the end there. We really were on the front foot. It was very clear early on. Flick came with a plan in terms of that press. He knew what to expect from Bayern, and we targeted especially their goalkeeper. However, guys, that's not to say, though, that in this game against Bayern here, that we didn't have our problems, that we didn't have moments there where things weren't so easy for us, or where the system was certainly tested and pressured there in different ways than we'd seen so far this season, because certainly when it comes to the high line, well, one thing that we could guarantee was that Flick, he was going to do it. Didn't matter whether it's Bayern, doesn't matter whether it's Real Madrid, he is going to play with that very, very high line, and at all times, they were stepping up. And again tonight, you've got to give credit to the defence. They kept that line absolutely spot on, catching Harry Kane offside for the first goal that Bayern had that was disallowed there, and it was very, very neat and tidy. What was interesting, though, I felt, was that it was very, very narrow tonight there, that high line. Barca and Flick gave clear instructions there to be quite compact in that back line, but what that did do was allow a lot of space there for Bayern's wide players. They were picking things up there. They were playing lots of crosses as well into the box. They had a bit of time and space to do that, so the narrow line there was allowing Bayern to have the ball out wide and just hoping really that we could defend in those areas. But the high line was consistent right throughout the game, and I think that it was particularly interesting today to hear what Pedri said after the game there when he was asked about that high line, when he was asked there about Hansi Flick's approach to things, and what Pedri said was, Flick makes us believe that we can compete at the highest level. This team is very clear about what it does. He said the high line, it identifies us a lot. That's what identifies this whole team right now. It starts with the high line, and we go from there. And that's what I'd say right now, because some people after this game would say, well, there was deficiencies with that high line. We were under certain periods of pressure. It did actually mean that we conceded chances in this game, and I'd agree with that. You know, the high line, it's not perfect. There will be times there where it's breached. There will be times there when Bayern, when Real Madrid get in behind or whatever, but I think it's part of a wider plan here at Barca. It's not necessarily about the high line itself. It's what it means. It's what it represents in this Flick team. Because as Pedri has said there, we believe we can compete now with anyone. And that starts with that clear style of play. It starts with the high line. It starts with understanding exactly what our role is. The high line gives players confidence. It gives them a belief in what they're doing. It's something they can go back to and they can repeat and they can work on. And no matter where you are in the game, we know that's what we're doing. And even if at times, there's a free man here, we've let somebody go there, it can happen. But we stick with what we're doing. We stick with the game plan. We stick with the mindset. And that was particularly important as Bayern ramped up the pressure. Because there was no doubt about it that in that first half, there were several moments, there were periods of that game whereby we were under pressure from Bayern, whereby they were able to pin us back, they were able to pen us in our own half, and we could not get out. We saw a lot of long balls today from Iñaki Peña, particularly in that first half, that weren't really finding their targets there. We were trying to play long, we weren't really able to make the ball stick, and Bayern were just coming back at us there. They were trying to move the ball very, very quickly, they were trying to drag us out of position, but I do have to say, when we were in that shape, we were able to defend there very, very well. But I think what was interesting here about this approach, and when we were with our backs against the walls, I think there was still that confidence at Barca. That's what we see here. It's not just about, the high line, this is what Flick does, this is what he asks us to do. It's about every player in that team right now. They feel confident in what they're doing. They understand the plan. They understand that, okay, Bayern are putting pressure on us now, but we're not panicking. There was never any notion here that when Bayern, they were on the ball and they were moving it, there was no panic, there was no dread seeping into this team. In fact, look at what Yamal was doing, because this is what I would say would really illustrate that kind of confidence here. He was receiving the ball in these kinds of positions with Bayern piling the pressure on. He had one, he had two, he had three players around him, and yet he had the bravery, he had the confidence not to go back, not to start the process all over again, but he was looking to beat players. He's looking there to get out, and Barca know, and they have a confidence that at some point we will do that. We will get in behind Bayern. And that's when I start to talk now about Fermín López here, because all game long, when Bayern here were coming forward, when Bayern were looking to make advancements into Barca's half, all the time, he's looking to get on the shoulder. All the time here, he's thinking, okay, if I'm just going to slip in behind, and when we do get that break, when we do get the ball, I can go. And I think we saw so many examples yet again here of almost lulling our opponents into a false sense of security. Bayern thought they had the game under control there in that first half. They thought they had us right where they wanted us. But again, you've got such quality, whether it's Lamine Yamal, whether it's Pedri in a tight space, whether it's Casado, who can play fantastic long-range passes. One of these players at some point, the confidence is there that we will break through. And you've got Fermín waiting in behind. You've got him there looking for a pass. And how many times are we looking crossfield? Because you can guarantee, again, Raphinha is waiting. In every kind of situation, Barca are looking crossfield. They're looking there to go diagonal over a defence. And Raphinha, he's always on the shoulder too. And you saw it again there for the hat-trick goal. He's waiting in that position. Also for his second goal there, Guerrero could not recover because we are consistently finding these pockets of space in the most dangerous areas of the field, the most dangerous positions that teams, they don't want you there. They don't think about you being there. They're not prepared to defend against you there. And we were constantly finding our way in. And the beauty, actually, of Hansi Flick's system is actually the larger your lead, the more that you actually get ahead in a game there, whether it's 2-1 up in this game, then 3-1, then 4-1. The further ahead you are, the better the system gets, because then Bayern, they keep coming forward. They keep there pushing more and more men forward, and we get even more joy. There's even more space to operate in. That's why you look, when Dani Olmo came on, he was splitting passes everywhere. He was threading the eye of the needle there, and Bayern, they couldn't cope with that. We should have had more goals in this game, genuinely, guys. As that game went on, more and more and more opportunities, they were arising for us. And again, that's the beauty of the system here. Barca's ability under Flick, and we've seen it several times now, to roll with the punches. Yeah, you can hit us in the face. You can come at us here and give us everything you've got. But we know we've got more. We know that we will hit you back 10 times harder. And I thought it was fascinating after the game for Flick actually to come out and say the match was fantastic. Great that we could get the 3 points. But he said after the first goal, we had a 10 or 15 minute spell where it was difficult for us. But he said in the end, it's good to see the team recovers. We have a young team and it's important to see them do that. And it's almost like Flick here, he's enjoying the challenge. He was enjoying the fact that, yeah, the team today, the young players out there, they were tested. They were pressured by Bayern. They were really forced into a position where, did they have doubt? Did they start to doubt what they were doing? Were cracks starting to appear in the system? No. Everybody buys in. Everybody is committed to what Flick is doing. And I would just like to highlight, guys, something else here that we honestly have never seen at Barca, especially not in the past few years. How clinical were we? How clinical in front of goal here. 4 shots on goal, 4 goals for Barca. That is unbelievable. The focus, the concentration here, the ability to stay calm under pressure. Again, no panicking. There's no panicking in front of goal right now. There's conviction. There's a calmness. There's a composure about the way that we're playing defensively, offensively, with the ball, without the ball. But of course, guys, like I said before, we're only halfway there. This is a very big week. This is a decisive week for Barca. And up next, we have Real Madrid, which I think is even more interesting. Because, by the way, that's going to be a completely different game. They are not going to approach the game in the same way that Bayern did here. Their build-up play, very different. The way that they will try and sustain pressure, it's not going to be in the way that Bayern were doing it. It will be a very different game in many ways. But again, guys, just listen to Hansi Flick. He said, obviously, we're proud of the result tonight. We're happy about that. But already, focus turns to Saturday. The work continues. It will be another hard game. And it will be against a team with a name that everybody knows. We want to put on another great performance. Flick is already thinking about Real Madrid. We know that right now it's great. It's fantastic. It is brilliant that we've beaten Bayern. But don't expect this team to lose focus. Do not expect here the team to be celebrating now hard. The work continues on Saturday, and we will be there for it. Right there with this team. So please, guys, do let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below here. What are you feeling right now? What did you feel watching that game play out? At times it was a bit nerve-wracking, but wow, what an exciting match, what an exciting team, what an exciting coach we have. Please do let me know, guys, all of your feelings down below, and very soon, we too will be putting all of our focus on El Classico and facing Real Madrid. I will see you then, guys. Thank you indeed for watching, but until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.